Hello, everyone. I'm sweaty. I just got done doing a 5K, and today is 2 years and 7 months since I last binged, uh, and I gave up sugar and flour. Um, Lost a lot of weight, over 160 pounds last time I weighed, and I actually set up a goal tonight. My best 5K time was 40 minutes and 17 seconds. Um, and I tried it about a week ago, and it was about 9 minutes slower because I had about a week and a half to 2 weeks of not great eating and little to no exercise. I just kind of fell out of it and was feeling pretty sluggish. But tonight, I've been dreading 40 since I turned 30, and it's been a big thing in my head that's been built up for a while, and I really am glad that I am where I'm at because I don't think I would handle it quite as well. But I had the idea of getting under 40 minutes on my 5K before I turned 40. So tonight at 11:20 p.m. I started my 5K, and the goal was to be done before I turned 40, and celebrate the first moments of being in my 40s with victory. Doing something that at no point in my 30s could I ever do. Uh, and that is what I did, and it feels great. My time is 38 minutes and 48 seconds. So I took a minute and a half off of my best time, and yeah, that best time was my best time at that time because I really pushed it, and tonight I pushed it probably more than I maybe have ever have. At the halfway point, my legs were dead, and I was just like my back was hurting, and I was just like, this probably isn't going to be the night. It's just not. And something in me was just like, don't even think that way. You can do this. You can do this. And I was basically doing a jog as long as I could until my legs were just too heavy or I was too out of breath, and then I would walk as fast as my body would carry me until I could jog again. And I kept that up, and I started saying things to myself like, you can do this. I started picturing it, what it would be like to bring in my 40s, doing something that I couldn't have done any time in my 30s. And I started saying things to myself like, you're stronger than you know. Look how far you've come. Think about where you were before. It wasn't that long ago, when you couldn't walk, or you couldn't walk without a cane, or you couldn't fit into a movie theater seat, or every time you sat down, you were worried that no matter what it was going to break. Uh, I used to have to think about, how far the door was from, where I would have to park, or, um, sweating all the time, not being able to do something as simple as take my niece into preschool and pick her up. And here I am, you know, about to beat my personal record for a 5K, as I'm turning 40. Uh, Here I am jogging down the street. Um, so, I just really focused, and I really pushed myself. I willed myself to move when I didn't think I could. Uh, and I did it, and it feels awesome. Um, it's really cool. I've been doing a lot of stuff, you know, that I would have never been able to do before. Um, I got a kayak, and that's really been awesome. Being able to get out on the lake, which is something I absolutely love doing, and I hadn't been able to do in maybe a decade, and now I can anytime I want. You know, uh, and I can paddle around. It's good exercise. It's very relaxing. I can just kick back and lay back in my kayak and watch the sunset. On a lake, just completely by myself, surrounded by nature, and it's just so peaceful and so rejuvenating and so just it's just a gift. I just feel like it's a gift because these are things that I would have never imagined I'd be able to do. Going um, on Trillium Trail at Giant City, this tough, rugged trail that goes at the top of these bluffs and along the edge and back down. Uh, you know, being able to do that and keep a good pace and just uh, being able to carry my niece who is exponentially larger than she was before when I couldn't do it, and take her on my shoulders around town, or obviously I can take her into school now. I can go to the movie theater seat without the movie theater with those reclining seats where the buttons on the inside. I used to uh, not be able to reach that at all. Like I would sit on it and I would spill into both buttons. I'd be pushing them constantly. So to recline, I would have to literally jam my hand as hard as I could down there. It was very difficult to get my hand in there because there was no space, and remove the side of my thigh from one part of the button so it would go up, and then just release it and hope that it didn't, and it would just randomly start going up and down. It was embarrassing. um, the first time I tried it, I didn't go back to the movies for like 6 or 7 months because my back hurt so bad from going up and down. It was embarrassing. uh, you know it was kind of causing a scene, and I just remember how horrible I felt then. And uh, and here I am now. I go to the movies, and I rarely even think about it, but sometimes I do stop, and I just look and I'm like, how? Like it doesn't even make sense to me. How can there be this much room now? How could I have been that much bigger? It just doesn't seem real. Same with my steering wheel on my truck. My stomach used to push into it, and now there's this much room, and I just think to myself, how was I that big? Like it just doesn't seem like I've lost that much, because it's so slow. But uh, that just shows you what you can do, a little bit at a time over time. Um, and it feels great. It feels great. I'm optimistic about my 40s. I still, I'm not in the best shape I'm going to be in my life yet. That's ahead of me still. So, they say over the hill and then it's all downhill, but I'm still going up. And I don't know how far I got to go, but I'm going to reach that peak, and then I'm going to stay there as long as I can. Um, so it's a good day, and I'm really optimistic about where I'm going. I'm really thankful for what I've done in the past, and I'm really hopeful about what I'm gonna do in the future. And I will continue, dropping in and letting you guys know what's going on. And I hope you're all doing well. If you're where I was in 2017 on January 2nd, the day before I started this, uh, and you're feeling hopeless and like it can't be done, um, it can. I felt that way for a decade, and it got to the point where I believed it more than anything. I really thought it was over for me. It hurt. Like anytime I would come across an old YouTube video, or an email, or just the word lose to gain, it was just like the biggest kick in the stomach ever. Like it was just, you know, I was so disappointed in myself. I had so much regret, um, and just kind of sorrow that I, in my eyes, had completely failed and it was over. And that was the closest I got, and I got so close. And for it to all slip away, and to me I felt so hopeless and so helpless, against it. It just felt like an avalanche just pouring on me, and all I wanted to do was, go up this slippery hill, and I just kept getting hit. I never gave up until late 2016. I was fighting the whole time. I was fighting. Um, I was at 360, and then I'd go, to 380, and then go back down to 355, and I'd just stay at 360, and then, you know, then I got up over 400 again towards the end of 2016, and that's when I kind of just gave up. I actually gave up. I had no hope left. Um, and when you hit bottom like that, you can do one of two things, and uh, I pushed off and shot back up. Um, and when I did it, it wasn't certain. You know, you're gonna if you're where I was, and you're gonna start this, it's gonna feel you're gonna feel like a fraud. You're going to go out there and you're going to be disappointed in what you can do. You're going to be devastated by the state that you've let yourself get into, and if you're like me, you're going to spend a lot of time beating the living hell out of yourself for getting in this position. And please, if I've learned anything and what's helped me, please understand that beating yourself up and thinking these negative thoughts are baggage. They're obstacles. You're literally taking obstacles and you're putting them right in front of you. And don't do that. If you want to go forward, don't do that. And I know it's hard not to. I mean, I really know that because I have this negative voice that has been, persistent in my life, and I just started working on that at the same time I started this, and it was very important. And it's definitely linked to my success here, the timing of it. And that's, instead of thinking, hey, well, I mean, the first time I did it, I walked half a block and I had to like almost sit down. I leaned on this mailbox, because my back was killing me, and I came back and I'm sweating, I'm pouring, I'm dead. I only went half a block, and my first thought was, oh, this is hopeless. Like, look how far you've fallen. It's over. Give up. And I stopped that and I said, no, you just went out there and you just tried and you did the best you could. What did you do yesterday? That's not what you did yesterday. You just sat on the couch. You've been thinking about it for years, decades, but you just did it. And all that time you're sitting there eating food and stuff, uh, you don't beat yourself up the same way as you did when you just went out there and tried. So uh, everything you do, try to drown out that negative thought and replace it with positive thoughts, even if it feels really weird, if it feels wrong, if it feels fake, whatever. Just do it, because thoughts are power. And you know, as a very wise and great friend you may know as Shed for Life on here once told me, thoughts have real power, and it is important how you frame things. So yeah, be kind to yourself. I think that's one of the biggest things. Be optimistic, envision your goals, and picture them and think about them. Make short-term ones and think about the long-term ones, but don't think about the long-term ones too much, because it takes a while. You got to start trying to be okay with who you are right now, and cut yourself some slack and just keep on going. It's just about making up your mind and sticking with it. Don't beat yourself up if you fall off. Just do the next right thing all the time. And if you stick with it and you keep going, it's not really sexy. It's not super thrilling or exciting. It's kind of mundane. It's kind of slow. But over time, like Andy Dufresne chipping away at that wall in Shawshank, over time, a little bit of pressure and force over a long amount of time can make a huge, huge difference. And I'm living proof of that. I've seen that happen, and it can happen for you just as well as it did for me, because I can't think of anyone who you know, it was hard to be as bad off as I was, both mentally and physically. I couldn't walk, and I had given up. So do it. Just go and do it. Take that first step. Um, and it's important, but so is the second and the third and the thousandth and the 10,000th. You just got to keep going, uh, and they all add up. So I hope, I hope if you're out there and you're you know, wanting to do it, which you probably are, someone out there is watching this. Do it. You can do it. Just stay strong. And if you ever need to talk or anything, send me a message. I love talking to people about stuff like this. I love sharing what I've learned, and we're all in this together. I've drawn inspiration from you guys, and if I can give any back, that's always great. We all have the same goal. We all want the same thing. We want to be healthy, and we want each other to be healthy and happy. So here's to that, and here's to my 40s. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Everyone who's been with me from way back, decade past, and all the people who have been with me on this journey. And if you're new, uh, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Please leave a comment. Let me know you're out there. I love hearing from you guys. Share your story, whatever you want. And I will talk to you all again soon. Take care. Keep fighting. You can do it. Stay positive. Knuckle love.